Computer. All right, I'm going to mute everybody out for a second here to make sure we've got a really clean, quiet call. And I'm going to welcome you all. I'm Nikki Cotton. I think most of you know me. My husband and I, Chris, we're part of this company for 32 plus years. So it's been a journey of all sorts from the beginning when there was no Juice Plus to Juice Plus being an orange box without a brochure and no written materials, and we had no idea what it was, to where we are today with all kinds of amazing information. And one of my distributors the other day put on her Voxer, her little team Voxer chat, it was a great question. She asked just out of the blue to her team, what do you think a really great present would be to give somebody for the holidays? And I was thinking she was asking her customers, her partners, that specific question, wondering what she should gift her customers. That's where my head went. And she just said, I have an idea, but I don't want to say it until I hear all of your ideas. And then it was a little while later and she came back in again and she said, I think the very best present that you could ever give anybody is health. And that's what we do. And so it wasn't about what she could give a gift to her customers, you know, and because it's the holidays, it was really so much more of a bigger gift that she was talking about. And so we have no one better, I think, than Aleta Speier to share with us how to gift and share Juice Plus during the holidays. And I'm going to tell you why. Aleta, number one, is one of the best connectors I've ever met in my life. It doesn't matter where she goes, by the end of wherever you are, she has a new friend, whether it's to the restaurant or the supermarket or wherever it is. Just follow Aleta around, and wherever she goes, she's going to have a new friend, and they're going to absolutely fall in love with her because she's genuine and authentic and fun, not inauthentic, authentic and super fun. And so, and she also has an amazing social life. She's involved with event planning. She started a Christian school a gazillion years ago that's very successful. So she really knows how to create atmosphere and create friends and create results. And I don't think there's anybody better for us to talk to about the holidays and sharing Juice Plus during this time than Aleta. And besides the fact that she's my such good friend, and I really love her dearly. So with that said, Aleta, I'm going to have you take it away. You can add anything. If you want to just give like a few minutes. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I did want to say one more thing. And that is the way we met Aleta was that her sister and 5 or 6 people above her sister were on our team. So we didn't know Aleta. We hadn't met her. We didn't know her. We knew her sister, and we knew some of the other people in between, but not all of them. And an amazing speaker was coming to town in Phoenix. And so Chris got out our PVC report and went down and looked at anybody that had an area code phone number from the Phoenix area. And Aleta was one of those. And he called her up out of the blue. And I think you were in Costco shopping or something, right, Aleta? Somewhere shopping. I don't remember where. I know you were with Janice at the time and you guys were doing something. No? Let me just tell the story and just nod, because this is my memory. I'm telling the story in my memory. And, you know, Chris asked her, you know, how her business was going. And she said, what business? My school that I started, my event planning that is my started, my personal training that I'm doing, like, what business are you talking about? And, you know, from there, she went to the event and at one point, actually, she then went to not only that event, but a lunch that Jennifer Meyer had. And she sat by Jennifer Myers. And Jennifer called me after that. And she said to me, that's going to be your next NMD. And sure enough, it was. And that part's absolutely true. I don't care what Aleta says. So there we go, Aleta. But maybe you can tell a little bit about your experience on Juice Plus itself. Like, did you see any results taking Juice Plus? What was it like for you?
Okay, well, thank you, Nikki. Thanks for that sweet introduction. I took Juice Plus for 13 years before I even knew there was a business to it. And she is right. Chris called me out of the blue, but I was cooking dinner and he invited me to go to a conference and listen to Dr. Deli Garcia back in the day, an oncologist. And so there was a time also when I was recruiting people that I was in Costco, and Chris called me out of the blue, and I was walking with somebody who was a good friend of my sister-in-law, and we ended up signing her up as a rep, and she ended up having a 6 club and doing really great. She's still a dear friend of mine. So yeah, so the combination of both stories are great. I've never liked vitamins. They always bothered me. I would go by, GCN stores or health food stores, and I'd always peruse them. And I was teaching fitness classes. I always felt uncomfortable telling people to take St. John's wort for depression, or take more vitamin E for this or vitamin C for that, because I didn't know what was happening in their body and how it would be contraindicated for them. So I really saw it as a real great adjunct, or solving a problem for me, right? It was just really great to be able to offer whole food nutrition. I just remember taking it right off the bat in the morning with water, and it never hurt my stomach and was great. I didn't ever have to walk in a health food store again. So I loved that portion of it. I was eating pretty well. My mom raised us eating really well. She practiced yoga. She was very much trendy. And so it was really fun. She always had salads growing up. We always had salads. I wasn't allowed to have any sugar until I was like 12, and it was black licorice at the show. So it was kind of like it fit a need for me, because it was just something that I took, and I never, ever shared it with my kids. I didn't know that kids could take it. I didn't know anything about it. All I did know is that my sister said, just take it. And I said, okay. And she said, just sign up. So I pretty much just ate my way to VF. Remember the old VF days? So so basically I did that, and I just shared a little bit at a time. I totally treated it as a hobby in the beginning. Sometimes I still think I do. I'm being really honest with you. But my life is very full and very cool. So I do have a lot of other interests and stuff. And when I found out I didn't have to give up my other interests, I was really happy about that. So so that's basically my story in a nutshell. But I really wanted to, I am an NMD, that's right. I got to National Marketing Director in April of 2013 in Long Beach, and it was a very, very exciting time. And I think my children, for the first time, respected anything I did after that. So that was one reason why, everybody has their reasons. And I just think that I was a mother and a housewife, and I was a domestic ecologist, I like to call myself. But I just really always volunteered my whole life for my kids' school. I was on the scholarship and benefits board of my daughter's school, not the one we started, but the one that she went to high school 9 years after she left. And I remember Nikki saying, what if you just left that and didn't do it? Maybe that would get you to QNMD. And I'm like, oh, how could I? So it was just, every once in a while you have to make those shifts. Like I read that Patty said tonight on another Voxer chat. But so I did shift, and I did start treating it with more passion and more enthusiasm, and just like really decided to jump in. I really jumped in after I went to Q school. I really saw that the company had our back, and it was very exciting to see all the trophies up at the front of the room. And we had not gotten to National Marketing Director yet. They actually believed that we were going to get there, which was really exciting. So my job tonight is to get you guys fired up to see how this works during the holidays, right? But first, I really want to mention to each and every one of you, those of you who are celebrating Hanukkah and Advent, this season is very special for all of us here. And we are all planning a very, very serious season. And I just wanted you all, I'm speaking for all of the national marketing directors on this call, and the ones that aren't on this call, but maybe watching it from Facebook, that we love you dearly. And we really appreciate all you offer us, all you give us, and everything you do to teach us the leaders that we need to be. So I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. So when I think about doing our business during the holidays, there's so much going on, right? There's holiday lunches for people who are working outside of the home. There's business after hours. People meet up a lot because they just feel like in that spirit. And so, there's all kinds of things. And, I like to think that at this time of the year, say you have 50 customers, maybe take 5 of them a day and reach out to them and check on them and see how they're doing, but don't mention anything about Juice Plus or the Tower Garden. Just see where they're at. So they can get off the phone with you and go, wow, she was just trying to pitch a Tower Garden or her product to me. Or, wow, she was really serious about checking on me. How cool is that? And I promise you, you will have a huge January. You will have a huge January if you just kind of do that without bringing up the product or anything else. Now, they might say, sometimes if I go out and they'll ask me, what have you been doing? How's your business this year? I'm like, it was phenomenal. It was so great. We had the best year ever. And I just love it so much. But tell me about you. I'm always kind of deflecting and asking them to share more about them than I have to share about myself. And so I really want to listen for what maybe they might need, maybe some pain point they have. And then I'll maybe write it down on my notes section of my phone after I leave them. But I really want to just try it all possible not to mention that. So what I would usually say is, gosh, Nikki, it's just so great seeing you. I'd really like to hear about your girls and how you're doing. And, you've just been on my heart. And I just, how is everything going? And just leave it at that and let them share, what it is they're doing. And so that you can maybe say, you know what, I'd love to get together with you after the first of the year, maybe talk about what I do. Because I think that, it might be something, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's for you. Maybe you're one of the ones, but I don't know if it's for you, but I would really love to talk with you about what I'm doing. How about it? How about like the second week of January? Better yet, I know you've been suffering with a little, breast cancer, and we have a breast cancer specialist coming in January. How about January 14th coming with me to listen to her? And so you're kind of easing in the conversation without really pitching the product. So there's a lot of holiday bazaars that are planned way in advance. I mean, if, there's a lot of things going on, like those holiday bazaars in there, like I saw Terry Spencer on, he's always jumping into a holiday bazaar of some kind. And it's really cool to see them, kind of introduce the other people in the room. That is a huge tip, to introduce them on a live and say, hey, this person has the best soap in the world. She makes it herself. And so, what you're doing is you're promoting somebody else, and they like that. So also is to get your Tower Gardens in those bazaars, get them in, farmers markets and things like that. Now, a lot of people do have like networking booths and stuff where people are selling candles and, clothes and all that kind of stuff. And so what I like to do is always have, if I am going somewhere, like I am having an event on the 17th, I'm going to have a lot of I buy these really goofy, I should have had one out here. It's really cute. But these goofy Christmas cups for like 50 cents, they're usually $10. So I buy them after the season ends, like way after Christmas, and I save them, and I save them for this year. And I put my shake and my gummies and all that stuff in them, along with maybe a little piece of chocolate or something, and then maybe some kind of a flower or something. And I have them on my front door, so that anytime I go out my door, I always bring a couple of them with me in the car. So I'll reach my hand out and go, hey, I haven't seen you forever, neighbor. How are you doing? What are you doing for the holidays? Here, this is for you. And they have a coffee cup, and then they have my products, and just say, hey, no big deal. I just wanted to give you a little, you can make hot chocolate out of this and stick some marshmallows in them for your daughters, So I always have that by the front door or in my car. We used to wrap CDs and put a big red ribbon on them and hand them out to people, but we don't do that anymore. So what I like to do, if they are curious, I like to ask them if they like to learn by listening or watching or going to something like a salad in a jar party or a deck the balls party or something like that. So I usually like to do that. So don't forget, this is the height of the social season. It really is. So when you are going, you plant the seeds at parties, but not necessarily, share everything you know about the T cells and the B cells at these parties. So so if it lends itself towards Juice Plus or the Tower, then I would say, gosh, I have mine up in my house. I'd love for you to come over and I'd like to make you a shake and you can come and see it. No big deal. Think about it over Christmas. You treat somebody like that, they're not going to feel like you're quote unquote selling them. You're treating them as a friend, right? That's what you want to do. I sometimes feel guilty. I used to be really, really good at customer care, but sometimes I think I have over 150 customers and it's just not right for me not to call them once in a while, but we get busy, right? And we don't have the time and we make excuses. And I have a gal whose husband is suffering from, some debilitating disease. And I did reach out to her the other day and she was so happy I did. And, I think that when you reach out and you share your heart and you really, ask them if they, can I make you some soup or something like that, then maybe that would be a good thing to do. So if it's appropriate, you can talk to your friends or family. You want to make sure that how much you love what you're doing. You definitely have to do that. So your part in this whole thing is kind of like you being the wellness coordinator of yourself, right? We tell our doctors and our chiropractors, all you have to do is talk passionately about it for 2 minutes and then give them my phone number. You have to be the wellness coordinator for yourself. You have to be really passionate about what you're doing. Oh my gosh, and we did this, and can you believe it? And all the people in leadership are going to Mexico after the first of the year. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And we're going to plan all these really cool things for our team. And, just doing that and how much your health, if it's true, has changed and how much your wealth has changed. Hey, let's face it. I was left as a, my husband left the family 25 years ago, and my child support check was $800 a month. There's no way I could have lived on $800 a month. So I got busy, right? And so I will always say I'm grateful for this business. So the takeaway could be very, very effective too. And so when you are sharing with people and saying, like you're at a wedding, this isn't really the time. Let's focus on the bride and groom. Look at them. Aren't they cool? Gosh, do you remember when you got married? I mean, just really tap into them, And so cards, I used to send out 1,000 cards. Now I hardly ever send out cards, but I maybe send out 75. But a lot of people write down in their cards, they have these letters, lovely letters of what they're doing and where they've been and in their business, and thanking all their customers. That's another way. I know that Wendy Campbell and some of other people do that all the time. A lot of times you can give them a referral coupon. You can say, like, I'm offering $10 for every trio that goes out the door, and you can Venmo them the money. You can offer them $50 for every Tower Garden that goes out the door. Just say, I'm, offering paybacks for people. I'm giving them an opportunity to get the product, their first shipment. I'm going to pay them. I'm going to give you $20 if you give your first shipment. I just would so love for you to try it. I can't imagine what it's going to be doing in your body. I am always curious too. Like when you're talking to people, like, I can't imagine what it's going to do for you. I can't promise you it's going to do anything, but I can imagine what it could do for you. And so that gets them really curious, right? So the other thing too is if you have like a Jolly Holly house, like an open house where you have people in the neighborhood. I know some of you have really good relationships with your neighbors. We have a Ladies of the Hood thread that I just got 3 texts from. So, and if you have something like that, it's really a nice idea to have an open house. And if you have tower gardens in your house, you should have an open house. No ifs, ands, or buts, and have those little gift bags for them. You don't have to say anything else. So you can have the Santa Chaser, which is like vanilla shake with whole strawberries that represent Santa's jacket. You can have the Rudolph Surprise. So it'd be chocolate with cherries in it. So, and you can have a stack of
I thought the surprise, Aleta, might be a little rum. Just saying. Little eggnog added to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you
Right?
can always have that on the side for people that want to walk out the door a little, like feeling good. So, honestly, if you plant these seeds now, this has to be our focus. I just had 2 ladies over here today. They were here from 7 until 6, decorating my whole house. So I'm done with that. I never have done this sooner. I always did it myself, and I was always frustrated because I never got to my business. Do what you do the best. I hired a CPA the other day. That was like several years ago, but I remember her saying, she goes, "Why don't you do what you do best? Because I love numbers." And I'm like, all right. And, there are some things that you probably are not really fond of, right? And so it frees you up to do the things that you really should be doing and will get your business moving in the right direction, like getting a housekeeper or whatever. And, me being single and being on my own, there's a lot of balls in the air I have to keep tossing. I have a school that's 250 kids and wait lists in every grade, and there people call me all the time wanting their kids in it. So, there's a lot of things going on in my life, as there is in yours. But honestly, there's always things in people's lives, who wouldn't need extra income? And maybe even say that if you get on the subject, or anyone who dislikes their occupation or would like to work from home. I understand a lot of people are working from home. Isn't that crazy? I wonder what's going to happen with all the commercial realtors. And who wouldn't like to earn an extra $1,000 a month? What would you do with that? And would you like to enjoy life in general instead of putting everything on a credit card? Do you know anyone that would like to pay off their student debt? My daughter had student debt into her like 30s. Do you see any moms that would like to stay home with their children and ask some good clarifying questions that can maybe get them thinking about other people if it's not for them? And so, you might say something like, I know this probably isn't for you, but do you know anybody who's head over heels in debt and can't figure out a way out? My heart wants to help them. And then you say that and you look that person in the eye and you mean it, they're going to go, I do know somebody like that. Can you introduce me to them? I would love to just meet him and see if it's a fit. It might not be, but it might be cool to get like-minded people to meet each other. And maybe there's something I can offer her other than this, just to be honest and really transparent with who you are and the person that God designed you to be. We do offer hope, right? And I promise you, your January will be rocking if you do that. If you can just put aside, but keep that memory jogger going. And, every time I connect with somebody on my memory jogger, I put a yellow marker through it. And so I'm like, yes, I felt like that. And anytime somebody stops taking Juice Plus, I go get 2 other customers for them because that makes me mad. But so I think that's about it. I have other ideas, but I do have ideas about, somebody had mentioned what to get your customers. They have really cool rosemary plants at Home Depot that you can get that are pretty reasonable. And I just saw at Trader Joe's $2.50 for, it's actually a really big grown up seedling of basil or other things that they can plant in a pot. And how cool is that? If you have customers that are in your neighborhood, just to drop off a card and a really cool, herb. You know what I mean? Just like really kind of, just to make sure that they know you're thinking about them and that you appreciate their business. You know, I used to think that was kind of funky to say, hey, thank you for your business. But somebody said it to me the other day, and I felt so honored that I was able to provide income for that person. You know, nowadays when everything's big box stores and all of that, to say thank you for your business is really an endearing thing to say, you know.
Hey, Aleta, I love your ideas, and I want to just open it up if there's anybody that has any questions. So I'm going to just take a view of, I can see everybody on here. So if you have your hands up, if you want to unmute yourself, and if there's anything that you want to ask specifically, now's a great time. Aleta is absolutely filled with a million ideas, creative, beautiful ways to connect with customers and prospects. Any questions? And you can just unmute yourself and go for it if you do.
Hey there, Aleta.
Hi,
I'll ask a question.
Kirsten.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm finding myself living in a place where I don't have community. I'm literally in an RV park. So just wondering if anybody here has any virtual holiday ideas to reach out at a distance, because literally we kind of don't have anyone around us here. So just wanted to throw that out there, just in the virtual world, what you're finding that might work for the holidays.
That's
Hey,
a great
Kirsten.
question.
Hey, Kirsten, it's Patty. And I think, as you know, I live in a pretty darn small town. And so what I have found, because most of my customers are not where I am, but even just like a $5 Starbucks card, right? We know that's probably not going to cover it, but at least it's letting us be thinking of them. So you can do virtual cards too.
That's a great idea, Patty. Thank you. Anybody else?
Where do you get the virtual cards?
You can
You
just
can
go on to
You
Amazon.
can go on Amazon or any others. I mean, literally, I send Amazon gift cards to people all the time.
And you can go
Oh,
online
thank
to
you.
Starbucks and do the same thing. You can get a whole bunch of them, and then Starbucks, I'm not sure, I've not done with Starbucks, but they just send them right out to your person, and they've got an email or whatever with a card in it. So.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
I have another idea for you,
$3
Kirsten, too. It's
sushi
Heidi.
restaurant from somebody, which was really great.
Oh, there's Heidi.
Yeah, Heidi.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I have an idea for you, Kirsten, if you're thinking about doing something for your community, for your customers, and bringing them together, maybe having a holiday party on Zoom where everyone gets a few cocktails that, to choose from, and you can make them Juice Plus themed cocktails.
Yeah, sending out recipes ahead of time, saying here's 2 ideas for mocktails, and here's an idea for eggnog, or using complete or whatever. We all join and we toast, and requirement is your favorite spirits, whether it's soda water or a shot of tequila, whatever it is, but your favorite spirits, maybe a bar of chocolate, and you spend a half hour together, Christmas cheer, Hanukkah cheer.
Dollar Tree is great.
I was just gonna add to the Zoom party, because if you have this issue, there's other people that have the issue, right? They're not connected, or they want to be with people. I've done some, not around Juice Plus, but I've done some where we play some games. You know how you have the wheel that they do on the celebration. You could take that wheel and do something. I've done some, and you can find them online, like Jeopardy and things like that. So anyway, there's some really fun games and things that if you need help with any of that, just reach out. Happy to help.
Great, Barry. We were on a call recently with somebody who said that they were they would have their regular Zoom training call with their team. And those people that wanted to stay on for another 15 minutes, they played games and they all shared some wine, and they did it, at their monthly meetings or their weekly meetings after their training call. So I was with the girls this last weekend, and we were looking for fun games online and really didn't find anybody. So I'm going to contact you, Barry.
Please do. I like that, because the icebreaker idea that if you're in person, you're talking, or you're all standing by the food, it helps to do something to engage and break the ice. So happy to help any way I can.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Anybody else have any input or any comments to make before we have Aleta sign off?
Aleta, I just wanted to say that was amazing. I was taking notes furiously and a lot of it that I've done, but I just think that it's just good to remember how many different things that we can do. And I loved all the ideas for the virtual as well, but thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
That's another NMD for those of you that don't know. That's Sandy Tabola. And Sandy, you're having our next guest speaker come on December 26th. That we're going to be excited for. I mean, December 6th. We're
December
excited
6th.
for that
That's
call.
right. Mike Clifton.
Yeah.
He has been with the company for a lot of years. And when I spoke to him recently, what struck me was his passion and excitement and how he's doing a different job at the company. He's reinvented himself. But what I love is if you ever want to hear from someone who's passionate about our company and knows it's headed in the right direction, and the power of passion is what he'll be talking about, you'll want to be on this call.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And Aleta, thank you so much. This has really been a really beautiful call. You know, lots of notes, lots of ideas, lots of input and content tonight. So I know we all appreciate it. The last chance for a comment. If anybody has one, unmute yourself. And if not,
You had said if someone was really struggling, and I just had someone that wanted to drop out of the Juice Plus because she was pregnant and her little baby had to be hospitalized and they didn't have insurance, and so they dropped out. And I tried to see if they would, maybe want to do the $52 and go for the big amount, but I just couldn't. How do you do that when somebody's struggling and then to get them to sign up to be a partner?
Yeah, Janet and I just had a welcome call today with somebody who is struggling also. And here's the deal. If you do have somebody who's pregnant and kind of struggling, my daughter had 8 Juice Plus babies. So that Juice Plus helps, with pregnancy. So I don't know if that was the issue, but she needs to finish taking what she has.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
She has 2 more months left.
Say, I have this really, what I would say to her, I would say, I have this really beautiful letter that one of our biochemists wrote she wrote it for the mother and her baby. And I would love to send that to you. And how do you think we can make this work? What do you think we could do? Get her to answer some of her own questions about how she can make it work. Does she want to continue to take it?
No, she just said that they wanted to drop it so that they wouldn't have that. She was on the trio and the healthy families, and I talked her into a week ago that she would continue to stay on it and see how they could do, because her other little girl would be off the healthy families also. And then we just got a call yesterday that they decided to just go ahead and drop off. And I was just kind of trying to find words, to say. I should have went to that question. How can we make this work?
Yeah. Who is your sponsor? I don't know what your name is.
Aleta, I am, and Noreen, we can talk about that. But my most important thing would be is that she was on Juice Plus and it was for finances. My question would be is if it weren't for the money, is this something that you found value?
Yeah,
Because you always have to take it back to value. She was on it for a while and now they can't afford it because of the insurance bills for the new baby. And there was no insurance rather. So I would go back to, if it weren't about the money, would it be something you would continue taking? And if they said yes, I'd say, why would you continue taking it? What was it about it that you liked? That forget the money, but if you could keep, if somebody could gift this to you, why would you want to be on it? And then also having her understand that while she's taking Juice Plus, she's feeding her newborn with so many nutrients. And I would make sure to give a video about that, probably from Casey Schloss.
Oh, baby,
You have to re-engage her to have her want to watch that video. In any case, we're going to wrap up the call tonight. Aleta.
Thank you.
Thank you
Hello?
so much. So I'm going to would all of you unmute yourself.
Oh.
And,
All right.
Sure. Was it Heather? Somebody was saying hello.
Oh,
yeah.
hello, I was. Annalie.
So if you can all just unmute yourselves and maybe give a word of cheer for the holiday season and a big thank you to Aleta for what she did with us tonight.
Thank
you.
you, Aleta.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have a
Aleta.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Love you all.
Thank you,
Happy
Aleta.
holiday seasons.
I had a,
Everybody.
I have a new rep that's on that wanted to ask a question. I think her name is Ona Lee.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but here she is. Ona Lee, what'd you want to say, sweetheart?
I was actually going to chime in that my son is now 3, and I started Juice Plus before I got pregnant, and I believe it actually helped with a healthy pregnancy, but I was unable to finish because of financial reasons. And I totally had there not been the issue with the finances, I would have continued taking that. And I think it would have been really beneficial. And I'm really super excited for my own order because I got the Healthy Starts for families for my son. And as you can tell, I'm dealing with some sinus issues. He's got RSV, and keeping healthy and this time is a huge thing. And I know I love my fruits and veggies. Is there anything specific that you could even maybe suggest specifically that would be like, okay, this could help to with sinus infections or allergies if you're taking it like beforehand? Because I love the products. I love the omegas, and I've sworn by them and nonstop talking about it to a few people, but I'm still not quite talking to the right people. But I'm super excited about the fruits and veggies, and I wanted to know if there's any other products, or research maybe, if that would help with preventing or aiding in making like sinusitis less,
So
or maybe preventing it, or
I'm going to answer that question really quickly because we've kind of gotten over a little bit on our time, but real quickly, my answer to you is we don't tell you that Juice Plus prevents or stops any illness.
yeah.
So just imagine if you were flooding your body with those things that we know prevent the risk of all diseases, which are fruits and vegetables, and you're fueling your body with that, does it make sense to you that it might help with anything that you're dealing with? That's the answer. So with that said, I think it's time for us to, lots of kisses, lots of love, unmute. Thank you. Good night. Warm heat from everybody, Aleta. Thank you so much.
Night, Evan.
Guys.
Have a great night.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Aleta.